I'm Adam C and welcome to the Silverstone Festival, which I attended today on the Friday in my Toyota Chaser. Turn up, parked on the Sporting Bear stand with the goal to try and find Richard Hammond in an Austin Healey 3000 qualifying around the circuit.
Not irony, maybe it does make sense. Richard has at least managed another lap. I'm being so patronising just based on the persona he had on Top Gear. I'm sure he's a fantastic driver. Look at him go sideways. But as the checkered flag drops, I believe, well, there's Hammond. I believe he got 15th.
So I've got a long walk now to the international pits, which is where they are. There is a bus service, but I bet I can walk there quicker to see them all get out of the cars and have a look at the paddocks.
Oh, it's hard not to. Oh, there's an MC12. Well, we need to go to the paddock first, try and find Hammond. So here's our first qualifying casualty. It's a Ferrari 458 challenge car that's obviously had a front end impact into the barriers. Retired for the weekend.
Must not get distracted by the Le Mans cars.
Oh, the t-shirt I'm wearing today matches the Daytona Coupe. The paddocks are a little bit all over the place, to be honest. There's some Ginettas, there's a TVR. My goal is to find Richard Hammond's car, but I don't know how easy it will be. Lower Lola, work is obviously going on. This is the live paddock. Got the race Mustangs. This one's Chris Harris behind the wheel of this. 289 Cobra. I can hear some kind of LMP car starting up. As I said, it's all over the place in here. Ford Falcon next to a Lamborghini Huracan.
These are exactly the type of cars that I personally adore, and the reason that I first came across Rec Watches, who present a timepiece inspired by 3 liveries of the original Ford GT40. Each colour is naturally limited by the parts and materials sourced directly from the chassis P1001 GT40, the very first production GT40, the show car at the GT40's production debut, and the car that Jackie Ickx made his debut in at Le Mans. The watch's tachymeter ring is forged from repurposed aluminium taken directly from that exact car, so if every watch contains a piece of racing history. The 6 o'clock subdial reads a 24-hour clock for obvious reasons, and its case is measured at 40mm as a nod to the GT40's 40-inch height. The GT40 steering wheel is also presented in the design of the caseback of this timepiece. This would have been the perfect item to be worn in these paddocks, and you can live that experience too and wear a piece of history with 10% off using my code ADAMC, as Rec Watches have sponsored this video at the Silverstone Festival.
As we get to this Marcos, I actually saw Le Mans Classic this year, and the Mosler in front, I realised the problem I've got.
I was in the national part of the circuit and I walked over to the international pits. The national paddock has a pit lane as well, and that's where the cars are.
Whilst that sounds like a wasted trip, it certainly is not, because the Supercar driver paddock is rather scarce of people. Look, MC12, Ferrari FXXK and LaFerrari, amongst obviously the Pista, the 911 Turbo, the DBS, the 964 and the Ultima GTR and the Rothmans livery. It's been a little while since I saw an MC12. Obviously these are based on Ferrari Enzo underpinnings. I think I'd rather the MC12 for rarity value, and they are gorgeous looking cars. You could say the FXXK is based on LaFerrari underpinnings, because it is. You get the ultimate hypercar for the road that's now a decade old, and then the ultimate race car for the track that's not allowed on most tracks and can't compete and race. That's about 10 years old. And in the middle of the paddock, we've got this Neo, which is an electric car that they made a few of and aren't road legal and were never sold, and a Ferrari 550 that's been turned into a homage to the 250 short wheelbase, and this Marlboro-looking buggy with a Porsche badge. Looks like a Jeep.
Whilst here, I was hit another grandstand because there's Skylines on track.
There it is. Outsonic. Skyline. It's a lot louder than the Skyline. E30 art car. presentations. These are the auction cars about to be sold today, actually. Jaguar XJS and the pink Beetle. There's even an Abarth next to the Honda S660 and the Clio in, is that a love orange kind of colour, quite desirable, not the best condition. Clio Williams next door to that. We go down to Subarus. Obviously JDM is now quite the reputable part of an auction house. Escort RS Cosworth. We go to the V12 Jaguar E-Type, the C3 Corvette Stingray, and a few more hot hatches in the lineup. MGBs are always at auctions and never sell. There's another Clio Williams next to the 924 Celica GT 928 over here, and then a car I didn't expect to see here whatsoever, a Nismo 350Z. So it's not the full Nismo car, but it's got the Nismo badge rather crudely positioned on the bonnet. It's got various Nismo parts, but it's called the Nismo, UK supplied with factory fitted Nismo options. So it's not an actual Nismo 350Z because they were never sold in the UK, and this is a UK spec car. You can tell by the number plate, it's just got the Nismo parts. What's the estimate? I reckon it's around 10, because they always, 10.
Nothing that takes my personal fancy. No manual DB7 Vantages in blue.
But as I start the long walk back to the National Paddock, an 812 Competizione has arrived. Presumably for the Supercar driver section, the MC12 over there.
Welcome back to the Chaser.
That was a long walk, but the walk was gifted by this fresh arrival. This is a Mark I Mazda MX-5. So they've put their mini Clubman shell on the chassis of a Mark I MX-5 that apparently was pretty clean and tidy, and then cracked a great big turbo on it, or smallish, big for an MX-5, side pipes, and painted it brown with these bolt-on wide arches, front splitter, and presumably air ride as well. It's even got custom dashboard design on it, manual of course, and the fuel filler caps up on the roof. Just 100 metres away from where I started the video. I didn't need to go all the way over to the International Paddock for it. The news team are doing reports on it. Richard himself is having a little break behind the car after his quali sesh today.
I just want to say how nice it probably is for Richard to be able to be in there and not be disturbed. Like, there's no one around here, no one really knows where he is. He's probably very aware of everyone around him, people like me with cameras, and at any moment he might have someone come up to him and disturb his peace.
I know what it's like when you want to just enjoy the moment and someone come up to you. You have to be your best self. As you can see, selfies are being taken. The media is swarmed around this whole paddock for this Austin Healey race. So the race is on Sunday, this is the Friday. So whilst Richard is whisked away to do more work with the camera crew, we can have a look at the Austin Healey 3000s. Obviously it's got the 3-litre straight six, hand-painted stripes from what I can tell. Richard is borrowing this car. He's one of the two drivers this weekend in the Austin Healey. Little bits of evidence of its age around, but otherwise, nice little lightweight rocket of a beast. But now the hamster has been located. You join me right back at the start with the Ferrari Owners Club. Being the Friday today, the Owners Club section isn't going to be quite as populated as other days, but there's still quite a fair few Cosworths on show, from Escorts to Sierras, and the RS in the middle. And just sneaking around the backstage of the paddocks, found a van with a spoiler. Oh yes.
So we had Richard Hammond here, one of the trio.
I've just come round to the trade section looking for the Diddley Squat Farm shop, because that always has a presence at this show.
However,
I've been greeted with this lovable spaniel over here. We have the Asian Parsnip Gin. So these are the flavours here: Asian Parsnip, Navy Strength Asian Parsnip, London Drizzle, and California Dreamin'.
in the winter he released the Asian Parsnip Turbo, which had more horseradish in it, limited batch, and I actually got the last bottle of that gin, and it's all gone now, sorry.
I've just tried the California Dreaming, which has mushroom in it. I don't like mushroom, but I do like that. Well, after a further look around the trade section and the cars on display, I have completed the trilogy for the day. With this tractor, we have the Diddley Squat Farm Shop and Hawkstone over there. So you got the usual array of caps, top trumps, mugs, fudge, and and rudeness.
Yep.
But now I'm better equipped, I'm going to move on to the next section, the Aston Martin Owners Club. Now, the Aston Martin Signet is a peculiar one. Obviously, yes, it is a Toyota IQ, but surely it must be the only car, definitely of its value, that has held its value for its entirety. Like, this is a 2011 car, they were just over 30 grand new, and this would sell for just over 30 grand if in good condition. So it's got the chrome wing mirrors, we've got the Signet door handles here, leather Aston Martin seats, full leather interior. I'm just speaking as an IQ owner. Look, you've got the different Aston Martin style lights, but all it was to downput their emissions so they can average out and release some better models. And obviously you've got the Aston vents in the bonnet that do vent. Oh, yeah, they do. And behind that we have what I can only presume is a recreation of the Aston Martin DB4 Zagato. Now, a DB4 Zagato would be worth about up to £30 million now. It's the most valuable car I've ever driven, and this one looks pretty decent. Why is it that with this Maserati there's a Willy in a square? Why is there a Willy in a square? Nope. Genuinely, there's a Tesla Owners Club in the UK. Moving on, when you're next in the Quickie Mart, make sure you say hi to a poo for me. But further down into the Owners Club section, we have this yellow Dodge Viper RT10, which I parked next to this morning when I went to go collect my ticket. These are taking part in a rally tomorrow as part of the show. And as well as this yellow RT10, that's one of the later RT10s of the bunch, we have a red one as well. So this one's red with black stripes and black 3-spoke wheels, and I don't think I've seen this one before. Like, there's not a lot of Vipers in the UK, so it's rare to come by one that I don't recognise. This is also taking part on the rally tomorrow. Another Dodge Viper RT10. Now bear with me as I take you through my favourite section of most shows, the TVR Car Club. TVR Griffith with Lexus style rear lights with the Cigaris, and this is a TVR Tuscan Challenge car. So these were Tuscans, but they were only made to race. But this one has been converted so that it's road legal, and I believe it might be the only one that's actually on the road that is road legal of the Tuscan Challenge cars. You've got another Cigaris behind that, and next door I think this one is a Tamora that's been turned into a Cigaris, so it's a convertible Cigaris. Sagora, TVR Cigaris, was a Tamora, so it's got that removable hard top roof, soft top back. I love how this Tamora probably further proves my point that every single TVR owner is called John, and this is a Bond bike.
A year ago today, I came here as a conclusion to taking my Viper to Clarkson's pub, because he opened it a year ago today, and I thought, I know, I'll take the Viper, hopefully I can make the cut in the Clarkson's Farm episode. It was the only semi-interesting car there, so I thought surely they must feature it in a scene, and they did. Yep. Oh. Hello. What's your name?
13, 14,
He's got a flashlight
and 24.
And
he knows what he's doing behind
some cool
the
specs.
Multiple champions.
Looks like a polite fella, I'll even be. I'm gathering, being the Friday, a few cars are departing a little bit early, including cars I don't even think I've noticed. Shall we Daytona Coupe? Oh, these are actual race cars, so they've come from the Paddock, getting ready for their next race, but cars have been leaving, like this MX-5. Absolute f***ing meow.
Sticker on the car says
It's only a small video of a quick walk around the Silverstone Festival on the Friday this year. I've bought some Cobra merch and I got a full weekend ahead of me, so unfortunately I'm not going to stay around for Natasha Bedingfield as much as I want to, because I've got busy days ahead. So make sure you hit that bell when you subscribe to be notified for those next few videos. But I hope you enjoyed today's video in the sunshine with race cars and an R32 I was going to show you, but it's gone. But there's a Batos VXR8 and an ambulance. But for now, thanks for watching.